Men cheat because they're unhappy with themselves. And the reality is, I think that's true.
According to research studies and infidelity statistics, 20% of unmarried men and 23% of married men cheat in relationships, peaking at 26 in their late 70s, with the US ranking #1 globally. Now, it's easy to conclude that men are bad people, but before we do that, let's have a look at the real reasons and uncomfortable truths from a man's perspective. Do keep in mind that explanation is not justification for cheating.
I ain't in the game no more, so I'm gonna put you on game so you ain't gotta play the player in the game. Part 4. Listen to me. In most cases, when a man cheat, it has nothing to do with how pretty his woman was and what she was or what she wasn't doing. I'm gonna break it down. Y'all heard of the word ego, right? It's a powerful thing. It's never satisfied. It's always wants more. Do y'all hear me? And the reason why it usually happens is because it's a lack of self-control on our part and an inability to be able to tame our ego. That's why when people be like, oh my gosh, she was so pretty, she was beautiful, she was strapped, she had everything going on, she was successful. Like, why would he cheat on her? Because it has nothing to do with her. It has absolutely nothing to do with her. It's us. It's us.
Men in happy relationships cheat because by nature, men are dogs. We are hunters. Women are beautiful. We see an attractive woman and we want to hit it. I'm not going to sit here and lie to your face. 9 times out of 10, there's no emotional attachment involved. It's more, you're fine. I want you. And I want to be able to say that I had you. See, now the difference between a man and a mature man is self-control. Realizing what you have at home isn't worth losing. And you got to be able to fight that urge for some quick satisfaction. It's really not worth it. Especially when you have a good woman at home who loves you and would break her back for you. Do not put yourself in a tempting situation and respect your woman. If you're a man with no self-control, eventually you're going to get caught up out here in these streets. And the last thing you should be is in an intimate relationship emotionally damaging the woman you're with.
Ladies, I'm about to tell you the reason why, the real reason why. There's really 2 reasons why men cheat. Because I get this question all the time. Like on my live streams, women ask me this all the time. And from a male perspective, right? I will tell you this. Number 1, it's because they're insecure. Yes, ladies, men are very insecure. If y'all can't tell, if y'all didn't notice, if y'all didn't know already. Okay, so a man will literally cheat just to make himself feel better about himself. They will cheat with a woman who is, you could be an 8, 9, 10. You his girlfriend and you are 8, 9, 10. He could have a baddie. And he would cheat with somebody who don't look nowhere near as good as you. So it really ain't got nothing to do with you. It's about his insecurities. That's number 1. Number 2, the sad truth. A lot of times dudes cheat because they get tired of what they have. They get bored. So they want something else. They want something new. They want another challenge. And that's the sad truth. But that is the truth. Okay? However, regardless of those reasons that I said to you, the truth is if a man really loves you, he's really into you, for real, he's not going to cheat on you. Because you're a precious thing, a precious gift to him. And he's not going to cheat on you because he wants to keep you.
This video hits close to home. When my ex-partner cheated, not only was my heart and confidence completely shattered, but I also had a lot of self-doubt and almost believed that it happened because I wasn't good enough or pretty enough or supportive enough. I basically made a mental checklist of everything that was repulsive and wrong with me until it dawned on me that I was actually a good and supportive partner, and there was nothing I could have done differently. I stroked his ego, validated him, supported him when he needed it. I cooked, I cleaned, I did everything. I never nagged or complained, yet he still chose to break my trust and my heart.
Why men cheat has nothing to do with you. It's not your body, not your age, not your sex drive, not how good of a wife or girlfriend you were. Men cheat because of what's broken inside of them, not what's missing inside of you. So I used to be one of those men. So I'm not talking about theory, I am talking from direct experience. So here's the truth. Most men cheat for 2 reasons. power and validation. So men with low self-esteem look for shortcuts to feel desirable, important, or in control. Cheating gives them a temporary dopamine hit that says, I matter, someone wants me. So it's not about sex. It's about insecurity masquerading as confidence because they have a wounded little boy inside of them that has abandonment issues, has rejection issues, is hurt. Number 2, cowardice and emotional immaturity. Cheating is the ultimate avoidance strategy. Instead of communicating needs, right? Instead of facing conflict, instead of saying, I'm struggling or something feels off lately, I want to talk about it, they take the coward's exit. Validation from someone else. And they don't cheat because you weren't enough. Truly, okay? They cheat because they weren't capable of showing up for themselves or speaking up or even just being honest. And here's the part that nobody wants to admit, which is just simple truth. A man could ask for a breakup. A man could ask for space. A man could say, I'm unhappy and we need to talk. A man could say, here are my issues. Can we talk about it? These are my needs. Will you meet them? But a man could separate. A divorce. They could walk away. They could be ethical. It could be with integrity. But cheating is choosing harm over honesty. It's choosing destruction over communication. It's choosing the easy hit over the hard conversation, right? That's truly not a reflection of your worth. How could it be? It's a reflection of his lack of courage, discipline, emotional capacity, and integrity. And you know what else? If a man absolutely had to get his needs met from someone else, he could do it after the relationship. Who'd have thunk, right? But cheaters want both. The comfort of you and the ego boost of someone else. And that's not true love. That's self-serving emotional dependency, unfortunately. And so here's what I need you to hear. And please lean in. You didn't fail. You weren't lacking. You didn't make him cheat. You didn't push him away. His choices are on him. Not your body knows it wasn't about you. Deep down, it wasn't about you. That's why you feel betrayed and confused and unsafe. Because deep down, your nervous system understands you weren't the problem. You were the one who was lied to. You deserve clarity. You deserve safety. You deserve honesty. You deserve someone who can actually show up. Deep down, you know all that, right? So being betrayed doesn't mean you're broken. It means your heart stayed loyal to someone who wasn't capable of loyalty themselves. So if you're sitting here thinking in the aftermath, why wasn't I enough? I'll tell you plainly, once again, you were enough. He just wasn't. He wasn't enough for himself. He didn't know himself. He didn't feel safe in his own life, in his own body, in his own mind.
The recurring reasons why men cheat include the need for ego validation, lack of self-control, personal insecurities, and a desire for dominance. Because of this, many people view cheating as a choice rather than a mistake. And since, unlike women, men's self-improvement is seldom about mental health and is more about physical, financial, and external achievements, many men do not invest in improving their emotional skills, relationship behavior, or dealing with past traumas.
Reason number 1, they are not truthful about who they are. And what I mean by that is they subconsciously do not support monogamy. They support processing women like they're objectives. They want to conquer. They want to do whatever is required of them, like a game, to get you in bed. And they'll say anything. They will disregard any feeling. They will disregard any honesty. They will do literally anything to get you to go to bed with them. And as soon as that's over, yes, they may stick around for a couple of weeks or some months or even some years in some cases, because they feel as though they can be comfortable enough with you, get what they need to satisfy their urges with you specifically, while they go and look for the next person to play games with. But still, they don't support monogamy. They just don't. As soon as they get in a relationship or marriage with you, you see all the online behaviors and all of the bad behaviors and all the pursuing of other women and engaging in conversation with other women. They just don't support monogamy, but they can't say that. The second reason that most men will have affairs or cheat is because of silence. And you know these guys, right? The ones who they were hot and heavy on the pursuit of you, and then once you got involved with them, now you go to dinner for date night, but do you actually talk? You're sitting at a table, you have nothing to talk about. There's no meaningful conversation ever. And these men will get this confidence boost from acquaintances, from coworkers, from women on social media. And they will get all of this feel good saying, oh, I'm worth pursuing, and I'm worth being approached, and I'm worth conversing with. And they will get all of this fed confidence to the point that they recognize that there's nothing to be had at home. Now, it may or may not be their fault, but they don't see it that way, right?
So they cheat even though they're happy because they're really trying to make themselves feel worthy. They're insecure. Their insecurity is the problem. That's really why happy dudes cheat. And or they're just fucking pigs. Why do good men, happy men in their relationships cheat anyway? Well, they cheat because they have a hole that they're trying to fill, and they're trying to remember that they're worth something. And they use the I like to say dominance, because it's really you're chasing women to satisfy a hole inside you.
The reality is this: people cheat in their marriages and relationships for one reason only. I don't want to hear about, I'm not getting it at home, I'm not getting the love I need, I'm not getting the sex I need. You cheated for one reason and one reason only. It's because you lack morals, you lack values, you lack fucking integrity. That's it. I don't care what you went through in your childhood. I don't care about unhealed trauma. I don't care about any of that stuff. You cheated because you lacked the morals and values needed to actually be in a marriage and a long-term relationship. Because if you weren't getting what you needed at home, it's your job to figure out why. Because most likely, if you're not getting what you need at home, it's your fault. It's because you aren't doing the things you need to do to make your partner feel safe, to make your partner want to give you the love, affection, and intimacy that you desire. People cheat for one reason. They lack morals, integrity, and values. And that's it.
So for us women, one possible takeaway is to focus on our well-being and personal growth, having goals, independence, clear boundaries, and strong self-respect, which can help create healthier relationship standards. It can also be helpful when selecting the type of partners to invest in. Choosing people who show emotional maturity, honesty, and respect is crucial. In the end, healthy relationships usually depend on mutual respect, accountability, and a personal responsibility from both parties.
I saw a video that said, basically, men cheat because they're unhappy with themselves. And the reality is, I think that's true. You know, those sorts of people, there's something missing inside. It's missing in here. It's not missing outwardly. It's not missing with what people are providing them. It's missing with the way they feel about themselves. And they constantly need to be chasing something else because they're not happy in here. It has nothing to do with anything anyone else in their life could have done for them, because you're never going to satisfy that need to constantly be chasing something else, again, because something's missing here.
If we're talking about men's infidelity, the mainstream explanation accepted by basically every evolutionary anthropologist, evolutionary psychologist, evolutionary biologist, basically all of them would converge on one explanation, which is that if you're a male mammal, more mates means more offspring. And so there is a proclivity for promiscuity in male mammals in general as a result of this. And it's widely accepted that the reason that male humans would be motivated to initiate affairs instead of staying with their primary partner and being loyal to them is that in our ancestry, males who were motivated to have affairs had this benefit, which is that they likely had more offspring, or they had the opportunity to have more offspring. And so selection, unfortunately, again, I'm not someone who's a fan of infidelity. I don't think it's a good thing to do. Selection, unfortunately, favored males who had less discretion in these matters.
So here are the top 4 reasons neurologically and psychologically why porn consumers are statistically far more likely to cheat. We have novelty, micro-betrayals, emotional dissociation, and escalation cycle. Now I'm going to explain all of these and why they increase the chance of cheating. So novelty first, because this is honestly what hooks people up front, even at a young age. It's like the main driving force of pornography, because the dopamine hit that you get from this content is already so unnaturally high. But when you combine novelty with it, the dopamine spike is even higher. That's why it has been proven that the dopamine spikes that you can receive from this content is even higher than real sex. Just chew on that for a second. And you can pull up anyone at any time that this is very unnatural, and it's going to cause side effects like desensitization, right? Your partner becomes boring because they're familiar, and the only thing that excites you is something new. And monogamy neurologically becomes more challenging, and temptation becomes easier. Okay, so micro betrayals. This is a deep one, and I just want to preface real quick that the phrase that I'm using is coming from the point of view of the consumer, what's going on inside their mind, all right? Because I know for the partner that this can be a massive betrayal. But every time that the consumer justifies their actions for this, they also know that it's a betrayal, especially when they're in a relationship with a partner who has set boundaries, especially when they have promised their partner that they won't watch it again. They know that this is a betrayal, but they don't see it as that big of a deal. Maybe their partner will never find out. Everybody else does it. It's not that big of a deal, right? But they're still hurting themselves and their partner. They're killing their own self-respect. They're just altering and manipulating their morals, right? That's going to really change a man. And then they're desensitizing their entire nervous system with betrayal itself. And what I mean by that is if they get an opportunity to cheat in real life, physically, it's not that big of a leap anymore. Their brain is not registering that the same that it would, let's say, 5 years ago. Emotional dissociation. I mean, literally porn will just come in right between partners and just separate them. I mean, for so many reasons. The consumer will lack empathy. They'll lack patience. They're going to have unrealistic expectations, which now just creates so many different things of tension and just disconnect that they can't even communicate. They don't understand each other in bed. There's just so much that goes on. But for the consumer and why this leads to cheating, the relationship is no longer what it once was. And that is literally because the partner who consumes the porn is bringing this into the relationship. They're creating this disconnect. And so they want to seek it out with someone else. They need to feel that fire again. They need to feel connection and intimacy again. So they go find it with someone else, even though they were the ones that literally created this. They're the ones that planted the seeds and just let it grow in between the partners. And lastly, the escalation cycle, which is probably the darkest of all four, because like any addiction, there comes tolerance. And with this type of content, you can fix your tolerance just like that. Switch up the genre, the scene, get into taboo, weird stuff, right? And it doesn't stop. This industry is fucked up. You can find anything you want. Essentially, the consumer is just pushing their boundaries further and further. Because every time that they have to level up the darker, harder hitting, weird taboo content, something that they know their partner would be disgusted by, their children would never be able to forgive them for, something that they actually feel disgusted within themselves for. Very dark energy. It's not what they actually want, but we're talking about a high. Someone that is trying to chase a high. And when the soft stuff isn't hitting anymore, and it's not giving that massive spike, you got to find something else. It's just a really slippery slope. And sometimes on these websites, you just come across something that you weren't expecting. And that gives you a massive dopamine spike. And guess what? They return looking at the same stuff. And then it just continues to escalate. And it's fucked up. But it's a reality. And millions of people are in this trap. But this leads to physical cheating because of the risk factor, the taboo-ness, the edge of it. Like they need to feel this high in real life too. And their partner's not providing that because their partner is safe and familiar. They need something that gives them that feeling that the content does. And well, what's more fucked up and taboo than cheating? Right? It's going to give them that rush. And that is how that works, unfortunately.
Men won't tell you this, but I will. Here's the reason why men cheat on a good woman. I used to run an agency. I had over 10,000 clients, high income, and yes, high value men. And I understand this in a unique way better than most. And the truth is, men will cheat on a good woman because a man who's inclined to cheat will cheat regardless of how good a woman you actually are. You could be a great woman. You could be a crappy woman. And they're still going to cheat. While this is probably an uncomfortable truth, the real truth is men look at this differently than women. Men look at cheating differently than women. A lot of my former clients looked at this the same way you would as, let's say, going out to eat. You have a basic need like being hungry that needs to be filled, and they looked for responsible and respectful ways to do this that didn't jeopardize the relationship, and many of them used services and didn't think of it as cheating. While this might not align with what you think, I can tell you from having 10,000 clients and many conversations with a lot of my clients, this is how they actually think. It is no reflection of you. Do not internalize cheating. Do not make it a measure of your self-worth and whether or not you are good enough, because it has literally nothing to do with you most of the time.
If you're interested in topics about challenges women face, women empowerment and growth, then feel free to like, share, and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Ta-ta!